Hello there, everyone, and welcome to the Extra Time show for Burnley 1, Everton 1, a few days ago now. But we're going to look back on the game, the high points, the low points, and just about everything in between. For the show today, I'm joined by Paul. Are you okay, Paul?
I'm okay, mate. Yeah, I wish that result had been better than it ended up being, but you can't complain too much about life in general.
Good, good. I think the best way to start this game is the team selection. Obviously, Carlo Ancelotti stuck with the three at the back system for this one. Yerry Mina, Ben Godfrey and Michael Keane were the centre backs, wing backs. It seems like there's a ballot for the tickets and there's a ballot for the wing back roles at the moment. Just about anyone can get picked for that. Fabian Delph and Alex Iwobi were wing backs. Abdoulaye Doucouré and Alan were midfield too, and James was off the right / in the middle, and Richarlison was, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin. First of all, what did you make of the team, and was there any surprises? What would you have changed, etc.?
It wasn't all that surprising, but I didn't get it at all because I don't like the three at the back system in general. But if we're going to play it, I thought we had better options than what Carlo put out there. The obvious head scratcher is Delph at left wing back. I don't think I've ever seen Fabian Delph play there in his career for any team. Maybe I just haven't watched them enough, but I don't ever remember Fabian Delph ever being a wide player in any way, shape, or form. He's been a fullback here and there, just as cover. But I always got the impression he was a centre midfielder and a very much a number 8, as his number suggests. You know, he's not a number 6, a sitter who just tackles everybody. He was just a player who sat in the middle and
he's barely a footballer, if we're being honest. He's an absolute slagger, honestly. I've never seen anyone who looks so busy in my life. It's just, he's got the Sigurdsson syndrome because when Sigurdsson doesn't play, he just comes on and does the exact same, which is nothing. It's ridiculous. If Niels Nkounkou would have played left wing back, he would have offered no less than Fabian Delph.
Well, you touched on what I was going to come to. If you're going to play wing back, you need energy, no matter what type of footballer you are. You've got to have legs and you've got to be able to get up and down the line. And Fabian Delph, there's one thing you'd associate with it. Don't associate with him. Rather, it's not energy. He can't run without injuring himself, as we've seen. So why you are playing a central midfielder who's notoriously injury prone and lacks pace and tires quite early in games because of his fitness problems? Why are you playing him in probably the most taxing position energy-wise on the pitch, other than maybe a lone striker like Dom is? I just didn't get it at all. I mean, Iwobi, for all his criticism, at least can get up and down the line, so you can see what Ancelotti's going for there when he's trying him out in that position. And I wouldn't be shocked if he tries out the likes of Godfrey or Holgate there, because they are at least very, very fit lads who can get up and down a pitch for 90 minutes. Fabian Delph at left wing back, I really thought Ancelotti got that wrong, and I thought he got it wrong as well when he brought him on and played him there for about 20 minutes against Leeds. I was watching that game in my house and I thought, oh, Delph at wing back, I don't understand that really. And then when I saw him starting,
the only thing I can think of is that he has played left back before in terms of Man City. It's a similar role without being a more expansive role, and he is left footer, so I could see why he did it, but it's just a lazy sort of alternative for me when you've got Niels Nkounkou, who, okay, might be a bit raw, but he's still got energy. He can still get up and down the pitch. He can still put a lot more pressure onto Burnley than Fabian Delph. Because let's get it right, Burnley got off to a good start, and that's no fault of Delph, so they scored. But then once you concede the first goal at Turf Moor, you're going to need players to trouble them and to help break them down. Fabian Delph was never going to do that. And if he didn't get injured, he wouldn't have been subbed off either, because he was just a natural left footer. So we'd have never broken them down. It just felt like a very lazy alternative to what was actually there, which was Nkounkou. If we had Luca Dean fit, there'd be no questions of this. We would have just played the other side, but it just felt like a very lazy alternative for me.
No, I agree with you, and I do like Ancelotti, and I'm still 100% behind him. But you have to be honest when you say if that would have been Koeman or Allardyce or even Silva who would have made that decision to put Delph start as a left wing back, they'd have been absolutely slaughtered. You know, they would have.
It just felt really lazy to me, and it just set us up on the wrong foot. So obviously we started really poorly. I think Alan gives the ball away in our own half, something which I just can't abide.
So
early
dozy,
on, take more, clear your line, just stay in the game. Don't give them nothing cheap early to sit back on. And we didn't. To be fair to Robbie Brady, it's a good finish, but it really did set the tone from then.
No, I agree with you. I mean, Alan, when he lost the ball initially, that led to the goal. That's really amateur. That's something, if a Sunday League player did that, he'd be getting absolutely bollocked by his teammates. And I didn't see, maybe the camera just didn't pick it up, but I didn't see any of his teammates getting into him over that.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, Alan strikes as a natural lead and someone who's going to give her out, but he should give him the ball there was ridiculous. But people do give the ball away, and that's fine. But my issue then is no will or desire to defend. We're just backing off and letting Robbie Brady, who if you look historically, he does he does get goals from quite a long range away. Robbie Brady, I think, whole days since he's been at Burnley, he does strike a ball well. Just to back off and let him just put it in the corner, and then it just felt like a very avoidable goal, and it just set us off really on the wrong foot.
We just don't seem like a team, and this really annoys me, and it has for a long time. We don't seem like a team that likes to defend or takes pride in it. You see a lot of sides, and you think, you know what? They just love bite scratching and doing anything they can to keep the ball out of the net, like an Atletico or like Tottenham were against Arsenal the day after. Is we just think, you know what? They are absolutely desperate, determined here to do anything to keep themselves from conceding. When we concede a goal, whether it's an avoidable goal or not, no one looks angry on the pitch, other than the only player I saw who reacted negatively for all his criticism was Pickford. He was the only one who was pounding the floor, looking annoyed, thinking, oh my God, what's that? The rest of them all just stood there and looked at each other, which goes back to what I was saying a minute ago. No one got into Alan. I don't mean go up and getting up in his face and grabbing him around by the shirt or nothing. I mean someone saying, come on, mate, sharpen up. You can't be doing that. You've just completely left us in a hole there. Everyone's just kind of looking at each other going, oh well, come on. It's just all this, isn't it? Like, clapping, come on, let's concentrate. It's like,
let's just
come on, do me a favour.
It's just,
let's just do more of the same, yeah.
Yeah, a proper team goes there, Burnley, 12:30 kickoff. Did he just
do
it? Yeah, no, not even slapped them, because I don't think that's historically even true. I just think they go there and they win. They get on the right side of the margins and they win 1-0 even. They just go there and they do enough. It was always going to be awkward because they're an awkward team, and we were talking about will and the desire to defend. If they had the attitude to defend and what we had, we'd have won 6-0, because obviously there's a quality gap there. But it just felt like a game we could have just said, we're going to win this today and there's going to be no issues here. But we just set it up really wrong for me at the start. The three at the back, inviting pressure with Delph not bombing on and giving the ball away in our own half. That, for me, for the first 35 minutes, I thought we got completely outfought, meant sort of tactically in that game, because I just felt they were just allowed to come on to us and throw crosses in the box.
Until the substitution happened and we changed formation, that was as bad as anything I've seen us play under Ancelotti, and as bad as it was under Koeman at the end, and as bad as it was under Silva at its worst. It really was terrible. You just think this is Burnley, and we're getting absolutely hammered. Not hammered in terms of scoreline, but hammered as in we just can't string a pass together.
It could have been scoreline as well. Chris Wood had a chance. Finley had a few crosses in the box. They could have easily been 2-0 up before we even drew on breath in that game, because it weren't like they were carving chances. They were just putting the ball in good areas in the box where, okay, someone went on the end of it, or we headed it away. But it felt like for me, for a team we were playing who were naturally a low block team, it felt like we were the ones who were just sort of so passive in the game, and we weren't even defending well. It just felt like we were just sitting off them completely and losing the ball in dangerous areas. I thought I haven't been one to sort of criticise any of Carlo's decisions this season, even when people have against Newcastle, but I thought Dyche completely did them for the first 40 minutes there because they just know that we don't like teams who press on us, and they pressed us for the first 40 minutes until Fabi himself got injured, and then Ben Godfrey came on. And I just want to talk quickly about Ben Godfrey because he played really well for me on Saturday. I thought he was the one who really stood up to the occasion and really mixed it with Burnley. Do you agree with that assessment that Ben Godfrey played well?
Yeah, I do, and I think he's merited a bit of a run in the team now in a proper setup. Holgate's come back from an injury and he's looked rusty in the games he's played in so far. Hopefully he'll get back to his best before long. Michael Keane's just been Michael Keane. He's up 1 week, down the next week, and Mina's just been really, really poor for the large party. He's had the odd good game, but for mostly he's just been really below the level, and he doesn't deserve to be in the first team, even though he played okay against Burnley, take that aside. But for me, the most informed centre-back we've had since the start of the season has been Godfrey. Really.
Well, so I think Michael Keane has played well the start of the season, but I think the last I don't think he played badly against Burnley. But for me, if everything was being even and we could have two centre-backs and our full-backs with it would be Godfrey and Keane for me.
It would be Keane and Godfrey for me as well until Holgate got fully fit and up to speed again. And then I'd like to see Holgate and Godfrey, because I think Godfrey has earned a proper chance now to make a starting claim for himself.
For me, why I would like to see Godfrey in the team is because, for me, the thing that someone put on Twitter, what does this Everton team at the moment lack the most? And for me, that's pride in defending and just really wanting to keep a clean sheet. And he seems to have that. He seems to really like defending and like doing everything to keep the ball out of the back of our net. So for me, he would be a player that would play. I think he did really well left back when he came on. Obviously, he was on the same side as Brady, who had the confidence to score in that early goal. But apart from the goal, Brady didn't really get much out of Godfrey. Of course, he went out for injured, which I predicted before the game, and then he scored Brady. So that was unfortunate. But I thought Ben Godfrey played really well. But then the game moves on. We go to 4-3-3. My favourite midfielder, Andre Gomez, came on. I mean, without playing well, I thought Gomez gave us an extra body in there, which ultimately then sort of helped swing the game back in our favour. Because, like I said, for the first, until Ben Godfrey went left back and Delph went off and Gomez came on, it just felt like we were fighting a losing battle the whole game. But Gomez came on. We went to the 4-3-3. Is that something you'd like to see us stick with now again, the 4-3-3?
It's our best formation, and it's the formation that we would play if we had everyone fit. But just because we've got a couple of injuries doesn't mean you should just throw the whole setup out the window. No other team does that unless you've got so many injuries that you're just basically putting kids on the bench. When I say kids, I mean players who are playing under 23 football most of the year. Liverpool have got injuries. They're not dropping the 4-3-3 that they play. City, when they get injuries, don't drop their 4-3-3. So I don't get why we are. Okay, we've lost a crucial player at left full-back, Dean. We have another left-back there in Nkunku. But if you don't think Nkunku's good enough, then he's not a backup. If you're a backup, then you are the player who will play when the main player is injured. If your main player is injured and you're not willing to play this other player, then you basically can't say he's second choice because he's obviously not. Is he? So I'd like to see him given a go. But even if you're not going to use Nkunku, there are other players who can play on the left back for a game or two, surely, as we've seen with Godfrey. And Holgate could probably go out there and do a job for, 1 or 2 games. If you don't want to use Nkunku in every single fixture, and then you could break him in slowly.
It's happened. Yeah. Go, because finish, and then I'll say what I was going to say.
I was just going to say, and again, you could have used Delph there if Delph didn't basically walk faster than a mile an hour and tear his hamstring to bits. But what I'm saying is, just because Dean's not fit and you don't fancy Nkunku doesn't mean that you have to just drop 4 at the back.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's having faith in your system and sticking with it. We started the season in all competitions with 7 straight wins, playing 4-3-3. Okay, we go on a bit of a bad run, but I mean, it was always going to happen. But then we changed to this sort of lethargic 3 at the back, which helps no one. it's having faith in your system. Southampton had one striker fifth the last couple of weeks, but they still played their 4-4-2 and they've still got results through doing it. Okay, they played Walcott up there, who's a bit of a non-entity, but they're still putting players in positions where they can still stick with their system. We just seem to. It's not like this three at the back sort of helping us get everyone in their proper positions. We're playing Iwobi and various wing back roles, Tom Davis and wing back roles. It doesn't even seem to suit us anyway. So I think we can agree 4-3-3 is the way forward. We do get back into the game by that formation, and obviously Alan wins the ball back from Ashley Westwood. Bit of a contentious issue for some, but I think Westwood's got to be stronger and clear the ball. But Alan goes through, puts Richarlison in, Calvert-Lewin, right place, right time again. We're back in. We're in at 1-1. I don't think it was deserved. You?
No, but it was. I'm glad we scored when we did, because I thought when we equalised, right, if any team's going to win this in the second half, it'll be us now. I think that will give us a G up, hopefully, and Burnley, for all their pressure and the good start they hadn't put us out the game like they probably should have done. So I was really pleased when we scored that. If you'd have said to me on the 20-minute mark, would you rather equalise now or equalise right before half time? I'd say right before half time, because I think it's just a really good moment in the match to draw the score level, because it will just knock all the wind out of the other team's sails, hopefully. So I was pleased about that. And then the second half, it was a bit better, but it wasn't as better as I anticipated. I mean, I think we had most of the possession, and we had Burnley back in their own half more than they had us back in ours, but there just wasn't as many clear-cut chances as there should be with the players we've got on the team. I think the only chance I can remember was Rodriguez curled one from the edge of the box. And I think when he played Sigurdsson through on goal near the end in stoppage time.
They're the only two chances I can think of.
I can't think of any other moments where I thought, here's the goal.
I can think of as many Burnley chances as I could Everton chances. So it really just says a lot. I think we, like you said, we had a lot of the ball, but that's fine. Let's take the ball on with us. It's not going to get us anywhere in terms of points. So I think that we had moments. I think James is a great save from Nick Pope, but that Sigurdsson want to keep coming back to it, because I think if you just take it away from the goalie, you're probably putting it right at him. You win the game there, and it's a difficult game. And I think Burnley did what they had to do and need to play it relatively well, but it's still a game where you look back on and thought we had moments and then we'd won it, but it just felt like we just missed opportunities at the end for us to win it, and you come away with a bit of regret. Obviously they had chance as well for Nick Pope, forced a good save from Pickford. I think Barnes turns, I think might have been Godfrey put in the box in the second half, and Wood, I think Mina just got there before him, so they got in areas as well as us, but it felt like a game that the stats would say Everton deserved to win, but again, it felt like the game petered out for me.
No, I agree with you. Yeah, it's definitely 2 points dropped, and as you said, for all the possession that we had, and as much as we had Bailey back in their own half for a lot of the time, we weren't getting enough men in the box, because I can remember 4 or 5 times Iwobi putting crosses in, because he was getting quite a lot of space out on the right. Iwobi crossing the ball in and just no one there to attack it, and it just went out for a goal kick. And I'm thinking, why is Dominic Calvert-Lewin on his own in the box when we're playing 4-3-3? He was isolated in the first half with that stupid formation, but everything should have got attacked. Everyone should be getting closer to him now. Where was Richarlison? I mean, he did well to set up that goal for the equaliser, but other than that, he was nowhere in the game at all. Rodriguez had that brilliant little pass, set up Sigurdsson, but that he's got to be scoring. But other than that, I thought Rodriguez had a quiet game as well. Iwobi tried hard to be a creative force. As I said, he was having to play at right full-back. And even when he was at right wing-back, he was at least getting up the line and trying to put balls in dangerous areas, but had no one to link up with him. And Gomez, all Gomez really did was come on and just be the extra man. He didn't make any massive difference. If you bring on any midfielder, then it would have made the difference that Gomez made. It just wasn't good enough. I mean, it was better than we saw in the first half, but as I said, the first half was such a shambles that just getting yourself back in a proper setup, it was always going to look better. But better doesn't mean good enough to win, and that was clearly the case here.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it is a game that I feel like at the start we should have won, but for me, it's a game that it was a game that I didn't think we were ever going to win as soon as Robbie Brady scored, because I didn't think from that moment Burnley were going to concede 2 goals. I'm surprised they conceded 1, to be honest, because they just retreated and retreated as the game went on, and they saw the point out. So I feel like they probably deserved the point, even though we had chances, and at least we didn't lose the game. I know it's not a way to be looking at a game you probably should be winning, but we've lost them games before countless times.
Well, going off what you said a minute ago, for me, it wasn't that I didn't think Burnley could concede 2 goals. It's just that I didn't think Everton could outscore Burnley when Burnley had one up on them already. I didn't have faith in what we were doing to think, all right, it's a rubbish start, but like, perfect example is Fulham, isn't it? Okay, we've conceded a really stupid goal, but I'm still confident we're going to go forward and rip these to bits and get a couple of goals here and with no problem. I didn't see that at all because the setup was so bad. You just think, I honestly, looking at that, was thinking, we're not going to score more than 1 here. And the only way we're going to get 1 is if something goes our way, which it did. Alan got away with 1 further up the field, didn't he? And thankfully, Calvert-Lewin was where we needed him to be. But I didn't look at that game thinking, and this is Burnley, remember? I know we praised them for the low block and being really organised, but they're not a good football team, particularly. There's a reason that they're in the bottom 3.
No,
they're not a team that's easy.
Limited.
Yeah, that's a good word. Limited. They're a very limited team. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of teams that will put a goal past these without much fuss, and it seemed like the only weeks, basically us equalising was all we had in the game. I think, right, is that it? Really? That's all we can muster up? 1 goal?
Yeah, I think an even better way to look at it is to compare the amount of money we have to spend to the kind of money Burnley have to spend, and on them kind of resources we should be putting them aside, no issues. But as I said, we didn't. We passed an early test to get back into the game, and we ultimately get a point, but it's also dropped 2 points. And Ben Godfrey played well, but I feel like the biggest thing that will have to come out of this game is that we can see 3 at the back no more, and we can move on from that.
Hopefully, no more Fabian Delph either.
No, well, Ashley, Burnley was the place where we didn't see Ashley Williams again, so I think a similar fate might be dealt to Fabian Delph, hopefully.
Yeah, there's always those moments in a player's career at a club you just think, yeah, that's it for him now. The manager won't play him again, whether it was Jagielka at Fulham or it's Ashley Williams. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't always happen in the same way. Sometimes a player gets sent off. Sometimes a player just gets absolutely ragged everywhere. Sometimes they just get really stupid injuries. There's just moments.
You say that I didn't think I'd see Gylfi Sigurdsson again after Anfield in January, but here we go, he's still here.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But the thing is, Gylfi Sigurdsson's still 29, 30, so he's still able to blag managers that he's got something to contribute to a team. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas, yeah. But what I was saying is there's just moments in a footballer's career at a club you just think, right, there's no way back now for him. Whether he deserves a way back is up for debate, because there's some players who play really badly and then you kind of think, a manager maybe was a bit too quick there in discarding them, but that won't be the case here for Delph, I don't think. He's done his hamstring to bits by the look of it, because he was hobbling off in agony. So he's not going to be fit before middle of spring at the earliest. And will he play again towards the end of the season?
Luca Dean will be back.
Yeah, hopefully not, if we've got all the other players fit like Aubameyang by then. And by the time we get to the end of the season, would he be moved on or have his contract paid out? More than likely. So hopefully that's the end of Fabian Delph and we can just forget he was ever here.
Yeah, I mean, he's been a bit of a nightmare, hasn't he?
Bit of an knobhead.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say any more about Fabian Delph.
I'll say one last thing. There was an absolutely cracking tweet that I liked. I think it was Falcon Blues TV who put on, Delph pulled his ego. That was a great line. I stole that, to be honest. So, yeah, Delph will be out for the rest of the season, or won't play again for the rest of the season because he's injured his ego.
Yeah, I think that's the last of Fabian. We'll see. Well, hopefully, anyway. Appointed Turf more. We'll take him, move on. I mean, we'd like more, but ultimately, football's football in the Premier League, and it doesn't always work out like that. Just keep an eye out to see what else is coming on the channel. We'll see you soon.